Let's talk about the return to the office move. So you probably have been seeing some news and articles of basically companies are telling everyone, hey, you got to come back to the office sometimes full time every day of the week. Even governments, municipalities, provincial governments, they're all pulling their workers back into the office. And what a lot of people are saying about this is it's almost like a pay cut. Let's say they were working from home, they're able to save by not commuting. By them returning to the office, they're actually almost taking a pay cut. Now, why is this? Because even though the salaries are staying the same, their costs are going up, right? They're going to start paying for gas again. They're going to pay for parking. Maybe they're taking transit again, lunches, coffee breaks. They all add up, right? This is hundreds of dollars a month for people and more expenses. On top of that, commuting takes hours out of your day every single day, right? Sometimes it'll add up to possibly 10 to 20 hours in a week. Time that could be spent with your family, time that could be spent, maybe you can exercise in the morning or work on like a little business that you're doing on the side. So a lot of people are saying this return to office policy is like a quiet way for companies to cut off staff or cut staff without paying severance, because some of them know that some of them are going to quit because of this. Now, here's the irony. Top performers with more options often leave first, while the weaker performers and companies stay. This actually hurts companies in the long term. Meanwhile, the fully remote companies are scooping up this talent from those frustrated by this return to office movement. Now, cities and governments also have their reasons, right? The return to office props up downtown business, right? The more people that flow into the downtown core, the happier these businesses are because there's more traffic, people walking around, people walking into their shops to buy their product or their service, creating more income for those businesses, which then results in more tax income for the city of Toronto. This is obviously good for the businesses in downtown, commercial real estate, which is huge, right? All these office buildings, if no one's down there every single day, that real estate becomes less valuable. But for companies to pull their people back in, that makes that commercial real estate more valuable, more useful because people are actually there using it. And then it's also brings in more money to the transit systems, right? The TTC will make more money because people are commuting back to the city again. Instead of commuting for a couple of days or 3 days, like the hybrid model, they are back in the city every single day, bringing in a lot of money to transit, or the GO train, for example. Now, how does this return to the office connect with real estate right now? So the work from home push gave people the flexibility to move further from the office, right? What happened was everyone moved to the suburbs during COVID because the city was shut down. I actually lived in Toronto during COVID. It was horrible. We had no space. Pretty much me and my wife were sharing a 500 square foot space. We couldn't leave the freaking apartment. We couldn't use the gym. We were both working from that small space. It was horrible, guys. And even thinking about it brings me back, and I'm like, that was horrible. We all got a little bit of bad memories from COVID. This pushed people to bigger homes in the suburbs, right? Because they're like, look, if I can buy a nice home in the suburbs, get more space, and then commute or work from home, which was very big, why wouldn't I do that? So it pushed everyone to the suburbs into more affordable areas, and then those affordable areas grew in price. That's exactly what happened. The return to office movement continues. Demand will probably shift back into the downtown core, right? This could possibly help the condo market a little bit, although I don't think it will. I think the condo market is going to struggle for another possible at least a year to 2-3 years, just because it is in such bad condition. Even pushing people back to the downtown core, it will help. It will help. It'll make it a little bit more in demand, but I don't think it's going to completely revive it. At the same time, if companies keep losing the top talent because of these strict return to the office rules, we might see more growth in urban and rural real estate as workers move towards employers that allow fully remote work. So this is another potential outcome of what could happen. Commercial real estate is the other piece of this. Office towers are struggling in many cities right now. Some believe that converting those places into residential could help fix a bit of the housing shortages that we have in those cities. And a lot of developers might actually do this that own those commercial buildings, or the owners that have this might actually convert them into residential. So here's my personal take on all this. Forcing people back to the office without raising their wages, or maybe giving them a little bit of a bonus, saying, hey, look, you've been working at home for 3 days out of the week, or maybe every single day. You're now going to come back to the office every day. We're not going to increase your wage, and we're not going to give you a bonus, let's say, because it pretty much means a pay cut. Let's be honest. Like, think about it. They're going to have to spend more money to commute, to pay gas, to pay all those fees, or to pay the transit fees, or for lunches and for coffee. More money is going to come out of the pockets of those people that commute every day. And this is going to happen no matter what. And those workers are going to be expected to swallow the costs of that commuting. And these companies aren't really going to do anything, let's be honest. Like, these companies aren't going to give them anything. They're not going to give them a bonus. They're going to make them swallow that cost at a time where everyone is facing these enormous price increases across the board, right? Gas, groceries, we all know everything's crazy right now. Now, from a real estate angle, I think this can actually create a tug of war a little bit. Downtown condos and rentals may get a little bit of life, like I was saying, if this really sticks and it becomes like a full-blown movement with every corporation and company. The long-term trend of people wanting more space and flexibility isn't going away. This is like a proven thing we've seen. This is why these dog crate condos have been taking such a beating in downtown, because they were never built for the end user. They were only built for investors. And it's very clear that people don't want them, right? And developers are taking note of this. They know this right now. And so a smart move for companies and cities would be to maybe just keep going with this hybrid approach, or bringing in some remote models and start reimagining how office space can be repurposed, right? Because the ability for people to work from home is so easy now, and it's only gotten better since COVID. Internet speeds have increased, the ability to meet with your coworkers or jump on calls, and now there's going to be like AI stuff. We're going to put on your goggles and you're going to be in a room virtually with people. All these things are going to allow remote work to just grow even stronger. So I think companies need to not just go hardcore back into the office, because I think they're going to lose a lot of good talent if they do that, especially if these people with a lot of talent know they have leverage with their employer. They can negotiate a lot with them to get them to keep them working from home. So let me know what you guys think about this.